Also in Figure King magazine, we have a prototype teaser image of their planned Takara Tomy 35th anniversary Optimus Prime. We were teased this, about a couple weeks ago, and now here we have a little blurb essentially of Masterpiece Optimus Prime slash Convoy version 3. And all we're shown right now what looks like a leg piece and the shoulder slash chest. Not much really we could say here. It looks a lot like it's gonna be.
The bicep is a little bit thicker.
I mean,
comparatively to the
the way I look
MP10.
at it is when I look at MP1 to MP10, you see the big engineering difference there. It was a different toy. It was a heavier toy. I always like to say like MP1 was more of a Barbie doll to MP10 being more of a collectible accessory. I don't even know how to describe it. It's just like that's what I always felt like in terms of its silhouette. But when I look at MP10, I go, it's a really good toy, but it doesn't really match the slimness that the Fluoro Deary, G1 Optimus Prime cartoon look had. It was more of a wider one. And that's not to say that it's not a bad toy. It's still great. But I just feel that it still doesn't match 100% that aesthetic of how it looked on the show. And I felt also because, I don't blame them because it might be impossible. But they might prove me wrong here. Maybe
That's what
there's
it
some
seems
new...
like.
Yeah.
That shin piece looks super thin.
Yeah, so there's a possibility that they figured out some new twists and turns with the same old Optimus Prime design. I mean, Lord, knows we've been seeing recently that old G1 design reinterpreted like 100 times now with a bunch of different toys. So I'm
Yep.
pretty sure something was learned from all of this, just in the same way how, again, like we were talking with Beast Wars Megatron, that toy got redone so many different times that they've probably learned something along that process. Same thing here. I mean, it looks like it's going to have a matrix. That's all I could tell from that chest piece for sure. It would be cool if in this case, if the chest was a color that really keeps out us being able to see into the chest, because that was one thing I've never been a fan of, both with the MP10 and with the MP1, was you could really see into the chest very easily.
Mm-hmm.
And as a result see the matrix like housing and stuff like that.
Yep.
So something that really like if it's a solid color or really like tinted color, that'd be great, so that the robot mode just looks really good in robot mode, and you open the chest and there's the surprise of the matrix in there. Just something like that. I mean, aside from that, I can't really, aside from making it thinner, there's not much really I could imagine you could do outside of, I mean, the MP10 trailer. There's nothing I could say bad about it. You know what I mean? It came with roller, it came with all that stuff. I mean, if
True.
they want to make it more show accurate as opposed to, because the trailer was more toy accurate, where in the show roller opened once or twice
Yeah.
and didn't look like the toy at all because they
And
really didn't have much to work with, and he was never seen ever again really
and they
after
talked
those.
him up so much.
Yeah.
Like he makes his first appearance, like, oh, that's old school Autobot right there. Old
Yeah,
Roller. Look at him
that's
go.
one tough little Autobot,
And I'm
like,
like, but does he doesn't even transform? What are they talking
yeah.
about?
So
How does
and
the guy
again,
work?
he had a very different design in that. So maybe they're gonna do something that's more that show accurate roller. Again, I'm just spitballing here,
Mm.
but I mean, there's not much that they could do
Are you gonna
this
buy
time
it?
around. But again, they want to celebrate the 35th. I mean, it's just an excuse to put out yet another Masterpiece Convoy, because
Mm-hmm.
it's been. I mean, when
Hey,
did MP10?
hey, Proto, you're gonna buy
Yes.
it?
Yeah, you know what? If it's really amazing and the
Yeah.
price isn't too crazy, I will. It's the same thing like when they did the new Masterpiece Megatron.
Mm.
I was very impressed with it, and that was something that was like, okay, the last one that came out wasn't that great, and that
Right.
last one that came out was like 10 years ago, if not more.
Mm.
So this was a big change and stuff. Where if this one, if it's not that big a change from the original, and it's like $300, I'm
Right.
gonna definitely wait. You know what I mean? But if it's something that blows my mind, like the Megatron, if you compare I think it was MP4 Megatron, if you compare MP4 Megatron to MP, I think it was 28, the recent one,
Mm.
it's apples and oranges. It's such a difference in engineering, and it really shows. But I mean, that was also a toy that had so much third party stuff happen in between. You know, like everyone was trying to make their perfect Masterpiece Megatron after that first Masterpiece one.
Yeah.
So when Takara finally did it, it was just like, wow, okay, you know, bravo, you know, this is really good. And it had, like, you know, the battle damage from the movie. So I'm really curious what they're going to try to do here. You know, we're not going to have like swappable faces with the G1 Prime, you know, we're not. So there's not so much you could do from that. Maybe a voice box gimmick, but again, that's not a Peter Cullen voice box, you know.
Right.
So, you know, and there's nothing wrong with G1 Optimus Prime's voice in Japan, but I'm just saying, like, so what are they going to want to do this time around that's going to make it really special to convince people to buy, you know, a Masterpiece Prime again? Because Lord knows, even in America, like, it's been reissued a few times, you know, and it got a Hong Kong release too. So everyone really got, you know, you got a chance, I got a chance, everyone
I doubled it twice. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to
I know
say.
I
Like
doubled it twice on the MP10, and then the MP1 I got the black one, and then the MP10 I've had my fill of like Masterpiece Optimus, like.
Oh, of course. And because you've had your fill, it's like I say to myself, like, how many people are so familiar with this mold at this point that really do they want to go in again? You know,
I mean,
like,
you can't really knock the Optimus Prime fans, like the fans that like I'm buying all the Optimuses.
And I feel
thing.
that by the time this comes out, you know, which will be like, you know, 35th anniversary, so you're talking like next year. I could see them going, okay, you know what? It's a good time removed from when that first one came out. Maybe we have a new audience now that collects these. I don't know. It's going to really depend on the climate of what is going on Transformer-wise in 2019. It's going to have to do with what the fandom is at that point, who's collecting, who wants what, and just ultimately in the end, how good is this final product and how different it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll definitely keep you guys posted, instead of just talking about a shoulder and a leg. But we'll definitely
and what
keep
a shoulder.
And
Ooh,
what a
what
shoulder.
leg.